congratulations on this film. It is such a wild, like, experience. It's hard to describe in like an elevator pitch. It's like part slasher horror, part therapy session,
That's
part
right.
love story, part queer awakening. How have you been pitching it to people, like, in your lives? How have you been describing it?
That's a good question.
I've just been describing it as freaking awesome. I just love keeping it so ambiguous, and, you know, because it does kind of defy genre, you know, categorization. So yeah, if anything, I talk about like the themes explored in the film, but not necessarily the plot or
Yes.
you know, anything like that. So
Yeah, it's interesting. I usually give up, or I don't even try, and yeah, it's a hard one. It's a hard one to win somebody over with. You kind of have to see it to get it. I mean, the trailer in and of itself, I think, is a really, you know, the hero trailer is really good and kind of sums up everything that's great about it. And I wish I could just speak that.
I'll tell you this much. I'll never look at KFC and their dipping sauces again the same way.
Yes.
me neither.
That first meal together, it's like it's fried chicken and dipping sauce, and yet it plays like Billy is conducting this full seduction using the Colonel's 11 herbs and spices and sauces. It's ridiculous. But what do you remember about finding that scene's absurdly, like, sensual tone without pushing it so far that it's just becoming sketch in the moment, you know?
Well, so much of that was Jane's direction, and they had such a clear idea of how it would play out, in a sense. I mean, it was, you know, a lot of the action is action that Billy, you know, takes in the prepping and the bringing to the table and does most of the eating while Chris is talking. But even, you know, when Billy comes and stands and asks whether Chris likes dipping sauce, there was a very particular pitch and rhythm of that question that Jane wanted, that was in their head. And I feel like that kind of, and the close-ups that we did of the chicken into the dipping sauce and how much sauce ended up on it, it was all very orchestrated.
That's hilarious. Just thinking about, no, that's too much sauce. That's too little sauce.
Oh, no, that was not so much a thing as too much sauce. Yeah.
Jane's movies, they operate on this beautifully strange frequency where something can be funny and unsettling and weird and erotic and heartbreaking all within a scene.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you're reading this, when you're acting it, what part of that frequency do you naturally lock into, and what required you to stretch, maybe? Were you nervous about anything?
I think that I feel like my approach was just to play the reality, to stay in the character, and to, you know, maintain my understanding of how she was feeling and what she wanted, and, you know, taking in the reality of her circumstances. I think that, like, that is, I think when there is something humorous, as, you know, a comedic actor or a comedian, you understand the rhythm and what that has to be. It's just innate. I also, like, know Jane, and I know that their sensibility comedically, and so I know which kind of, like, flavor to inhabit and to execute. And so, yeah, I think it's intuitive, you know.
I feel like for me, it was important that the erotic nature that might have been coming from Billy was innocent and not, you know, she wasn't purposefully trying to seduce. And so that was challenging, an interesting challenge.
She never comes across as creepy.
Yeah.
And that can easily happen.
Yeah. That was important to me, or predatory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The film clearly loves slashers. I'm a huge slasher fan. Well, also, you know, it also puts them on the examination table through a lot of different angles. So, I mean, Gillian, Billy claims she once auditioned for The Burning. you were kind of starting in that last gasp with the 80s slashers. Did you ever actually audition for any of these slashers or series that are being brought up throughout this film?
No, I didn't. Yeah. I mean, I had quite an intense day job at the time that would have kept me pretty busy. And also, I think because of there was a horror element to the X-Files, even though it was majoritively sci-fi, and but there was definitely, obviously, a horror element to it. And I don't think I would have. If I were auditioning for anything, it would have been the complete opposite to that. Then,
mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Hannah, you've talked about you and Gillian, especially in the press notes, like spending a lot of time between scenes, sitting on tree stumps, having these long, deep conversations, which feels kind of weirdly perfect for this movie, like the relationship quietly being built in the woods before the cameras even roll. Did anything from those conversations, find its way into Chris and Billy, either emotionally or, just the way you began to understand each other on screen?
Oh, I was talking about like Jane and I relative to the like some of the more like dissociation sexuality conversations.
Sure.
That was, yeah. I think that, yeah, Jane and I just had like a lot of conversations, not necessarily about the scene work, but about like the themes and the subject matter that the film would explore. And that was really helpful for me to understand how much of the subject matter of the film was true for me. And I had kind of like a parallel experience alongside Chris relative to that stuff. So yeah, that was, I think, it's a credit to Jane as like a filmmaker and just like as someone who, wants to explore something sensitive and explores it sensitively and like does show up. They're not just going to put something down and be like, can't wait to see what you do, girl. Like, it's like, no, let's talk about it. Let's actually like share, and I will share with you. Like, I'll share with you my experience, and like, I want to hear about yours, So that set the stage, I think, for me to just like try to do my best work.
I love the scene also where you're sitting there screening Camp Miasma footage. Were you able, because, it's a fake franchise, but, there's, VHS covers and action figures and all that stuff. But, like, it feels as though MUBI could announce a 9-film box set. Like, it feels like a lived-in kind of thing. Were you able to, like, have footage in that scene, or were you just reacting?
Completely blank screen. They hadn't shot it yet, so...
Right.
That was, like, maybe our first day of shooting, all the movie theater stuff.
Yeah.
That was our first day of shooting, just kind of, like, sitting there and running through some reactions and, Jane would be like, now this is happening. Now that's happening. Now this is happening.
Like scribbling on the thing. Harder. I'm worried about continuity and the amount of things. She's like, I don't know. Turn the page.
Turn the page.
It's okay.
Pardon the hard pivot here, but Gillian, I am a massive X-Files fan.
Yes, I see it now. Oh,
You're
sure
actually
thing.
dancing on my shirt here.
Yeah. That was a BTS.
That's
when
exactly.
BTSs didn't exist.
It was my late father's favorite show and has since become my favorite show because it's kind of like spending time with him after he's gone. And I have The Truth Is Out There tattooed on my arm here.
Oh, you sure do.
Yeah, I've talked with David. I might be actually talking with Chris later. But yeah, so huge fan, big fan of that. Saw you got to step in with like the Lego, stuff that they just did.
Yeah.
I know you've met with Ryan Coogler about what the future is. 1, did you do anything with the pilot? And 2, do you feel like Mulder and Scully should exist in that iteration of the show, or do you want to pass it on?
It makes sense that they're there for the sake of the fans. I'm not sure yet what that looks like, but I do understand why it would make sense and it would honor what Ryan is doing.
Amazing. Well, I can't wait to see it regardless, and I'll just say that, again, the film is fantastic. It hits theaters on August 7th. It's wonderfully weird and beautiful, and again, congratulations.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you.